Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Paris and I'm the author of the Magi Trilogy. I want to start today's video by giving you guys a huge thank you for 100 subscribers. I reached that milestone I think about a week and a half ago now, so I'm very excited and grateful for it. So thank you guys for helping me get this far. In today's video, I want to do something kind of fun to celebrate. So I'm kind of halfway recreating one of my first videos, which was an author Q&A. So I asked you guys over the past week on Instagram to give me some questions to answer that are kind of about anything. Some of them are writing related, asking for advice. Some of them are kind of just funny or just random questions. Some of them are a little more serious. So to get this kind of interesting, to keep all of your interests active and engaged, I've mixed them up. So we have some random ones, and then we have a serious one, and then we have one about who knows what they're about. There's a bunch of them. There's a long list, so we're gonna have some fun. I think the easiest way to do this is to just kind of answer them all in one long chain, mainly because I don't want to edit all 18 questions together. I'm getting a little lazy. But moving on to the first question, what is my favorite genre to write? Top 3 favorite genres to write for me are fantasy, contemporary, and dystopian. Fantasy obviously has a special place in my heart because the Magi is a fantasy trilogy, but my absolute favorite genre is probably contemporary, just because it has a kind of easy base, but then you can add so much to it. And it's also fun too because contemporary is actually a genre that you can very easily kind of tweak the genre and add little bits of supernatural to it or little bits of fantasy to it or whatever genre you're wanting to add. It's a fun base because you can twist it into so much. The second question is the hardest and easiest part of being an author. I would say the easiest part for me personally is the initial drafting or writing stage. Getting the original idea written out, getting it out of my head and onto paper is easy to me. I love doing it. It's my favorite part of publishing or being an author, writing, however you want to word it. It's my favorite and the easiest part. The hardest part is probably just figuring out what to do and when to do it. What should your publishing timeline be? What do you want the deadline to be to actually publish? What edits need to be made? How do you make the edits? When do you get your betas involved? All of those questions, getting your plan out, getting your plan on paper is harder than getting the idea on paper, at least for me personally. Question number 3, what are my favorite songs to write to? Absolutely anything by NF I will be listening to while I write. I will just put on his music and just play it. So that's probably just my very vague, kind of broad answer, just NF, period. Legends by The Score is another one that I really like to listen to while I write. It inspired a couple of my favorite scenes, so it's another fun one to listen to while I write. And then just as a couple other random songs, I do listen to music with words in it because I kind of vibe or sometimes even mouth the words or sing a little bit while I'm writing in my room. I don't know how to describe it because I know for some people having words in the background while they're writing it won't work. For me, it kind of does and I enjoy doing it. So a lot of the songs I listen to while I write are just, I don't know quite how to describe it, but they have a vibe to them that brings action. I know that probably sounds really weird, but that's the best way I can put it. Question number 4, what is the weirdest thing you've Googled recently for writing purposes? Nothing. I haven't Googled anything weird recently for writing, actually. I think the main reason for this is I'm in the process of editing and publishing 2 different books right now. I have the Magi 3. It's called Beldestine. I just realized I can tell you guys the title because I posted the trailer yesterday. Beldestine, I'm working on editing it. And then McKenna and I have mentioned recently that we are publishing something together in November. So we've been working on that, so I haven't had an opportunity to Google anything weird. We'll keep you guys updated. I'm sure I'll be Googling random facts very soon. Question number 5, what is your deepest held belief and why do you believe it? I think the best way to word this one is really just my faith. I'm a Christian, so my faith in God and the Bible, I would have to be my deepest held belief. But why do I believe it? I just do. I know he's real. I know the Bible is true. I just know it. I've witnessed miracles. I've had not opportunities, but I've had experiences where I know. So I couldn't tell you why exactly. It's just my faith. It tells me that is true. Question number 6. How do you actually get people to buy or read your book? I think the answer to this one is really just connections, which is kind of a weird way to put it, but it's a numbers game to some degree. The more people you talk to about your book, the more opportunities you have to sell it. If you tell 10 people you have written a book versus only one person, you have 10 times the opportunity to sell a book. Because the reality is not everybody is going to be able to buy your book, not everybody's going to buy it, not everybody's going to read it. So the more people who know about it, the more chances you get. I have also found some of my easiest sales are when my readers recommend the book to other people. I'll have friends who recommend it to their friends, or somebody will DM me like, oh, I mentioned to my sister that they should read the book, so on and so forth. Having that word of mouth aspect, which is again related to connections, that is really what I found comes down to getting people to buying your book, just spreading the word, getting people to know about it. Question number 7. McKenna asked me this one because she wants the tea. What is your favorite side whip about? I have a lot of side whips, and a lot of them, I don't really talk about them because I do plan on publishing them, and I don't want to mention too much and get people distracted with them and, draw their attention away from the books that I'm planning on publishing more like immediately. My favorite side whip, it's contemporary and it takes place in Boston. And I'm trying to think of an easy, vague, spoiler-free way to say it. I would say it has a lot to do with found family. It is very vaguely about a girl who was raised, or not raised, but kind of taken in by a hero, quote unquote a hero. And she endured a lot of abuse with this person. And she ends up being taken under the wings of 4 villains. And she kind of realizes that, society might mark these people as hero versus villain, but it comes down to how they treat her, and it's a story of a lot of healing. And then these guys love them, they adopt her as kind of their little sister, and they love her and they adore her and they treat her really well, compared to the person who adopted her as a daughter didn't really treat her that well. And I just info dumped a ton of stuff, pretend I didn't say anything. Question number 8. This is a question I get it's a very recurring question, so I'm kind of happy it's back because it's obviously something people are interested in. You guys will see. Where was I on the list? Question number 8 is, are you ever going to translate your books to another language? I would love to do that. I think that would be a lot of fun. I think it would be beneficial. Like I've said, a lot of people have asked me before, so there is interest. However, I don't currently have the means or the money to do it because I would 100% need to hire somebody to do this for me. I'm not fluent enough in any language that I could translate my books. So I would need to find somebody who could, I would need to pick the language first, and then I need to hire somebody to do it. And then I would probably need to hire an editor in that language, somebody who knows that language well, so that it could be, proper grammar in there, because I can't do anything. I won't be able to double check anything with it. And I think that's another aspect of why I'm a little unsure of how to go about it, because I would really need to find somebody I trust completely, because I would have no way of checking the quality of it. And then, like I said, it's also a money issue. I just can't hire somebody right now. So yes, I want to, I just can't currently do it. All right, this 9th question is another one I'm happy I got. And it is, do you ever have any months where you sell no copies? Yes. This past April was the first month where I didn't sell any copies of either of my books, period. And I have only sold 1 copy this month as well. So I'm in a little bit of a slump with selling copies of my book as well. And there are a lot of reasons for this, and I'm sure there's a lot of reasons for why people might not be currently buying your books as well if you are also in this phase. And I want to tell you right now, not one of those reasons is your book is bad or people don't care. There's a very, very long list of reasons. One of them could be, sorry, a bird just flew past. One of them could be the financial aspect, and even just within that, there's a lot of reasons. People might have a budget and your book is currently out of their budget. They might be saving for something, or maybe they're saving for your book at the moment. Maybe they're going to do a book haul soon. There's a lot of different reasons for not being able to currently get a copy. Another reason for it is they might be waiting for something. Like I said, they might be saving for something and they're going to buy the book after. Or maybe for me as an example, the 3rd book in my trilogy, Belle Destine, is coming out in 3 months. So people might just wait and get all of them at the end, when all of the books are out together, people might bundle together. So there's a lot of different reasons for it. Doesn't mean your book is bad. It doesn't mean, you're failing as an author. It happens to all of us, and it's happening to me right now. Question number 10 is Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings? I could never get into Lord of the Rings. I tried it a couple times. It just wasn't my thing. So hard win for Harry Potter right there. Just Harry Potter's the winner. Question 11, Star Wars or Star Trek? I haven't really seen either of them. My brothers like Star Wars, so if I had to choose something, I guess I would choose that just because I have, seen clips of them watching it. So that would be my guess, not my guess, but that would be my answer for that one. Question number 12 is my MBTI type. I am, let me see if I can pronounce this correctly here. I am an ISFP. I don't currently remember what that is. I know they all have their meaning behind them, but I am an ISFP. Harry Potter is also one, actually. So, if you Google that, you can probably learn a concerning amount of stuff about me. Just what an ISFP is like, because it is spot on. I'm going to be honest with you there. Question number 13. This one's a really fun one. Who would get along with your characters out of other indie books? I don't think there's a cast of characters I read in other indie books that my characters would just not get along with. There'd be some characters they'd get along with better than others, but I think for the most part, they would get along just fine. I think MC and Lauren's casts, so from Untouchable and The Unanswered Questions, they would get along very well. I could see all of those characters I could see them getting along well. I think there'd be some bickering between some of the characters for sure, but they would get along for the most part. I think from, trying to think of the other casts that would particularly get along, I think from The Rise of the Raiden by Susan Elmore Clough, I think that her adult characters in particular would get along with my adult characters. I think we could, I think we could vibe there. Same thing with Mike Diener's book, The Daughter of Axiom. I'm blanking on titles right now. Sorry for all of the pauses. Daughter of Axiom, same thing. I think, actually, I would say Carolina and then Jen, they would both get along with my cast. They would fit in just fine. And then same thing, I think the adult characters in those books in particular would get along with my older cast as well. I think from Louise's book, Where Iron Meets Flame, I'm forgetting everything, Where Iron Meets Flame, her bandits would get along with my boys in particular, Miles, Will, Ren, Raymond, and Ryder. They would get along too well. Way too well. They probably should never meet because chaos would ensue with how well they get along. So moving on from that, I think McKenna's cast from the Unmasked trilogy, I think they're a little bit older than mine, but I think Emily in particular, she would fit in. She might be a little older than them, but she would fit in for sure. I think if I had to pick a cast of characters from another indie book that probably wouldn't get along with my cast very well would be Larissa's cast of characters from Breaking Free. I think Miles and Alec would butt heads to such a big degree that they would be in danger. Those two are not meeting. They can never meet under any circumstance. I forbid it right here, right now. It would be chaos. The next question is, so we go from a really chaotic question to another kind of more serious one, and it is, how has your faith influenced your writing? I think it's just influenced probably every aspect of it. It kind of just slips in. Not every single one of my characters is a Christian. In the Magi, they live in a different fantasy world, so they don't really have our set Bible, but a lot of my characters, they do believe in God. And they have the same kind of beliefs and morals as I do, even if it's not necessarily labeled as Christianity. I think in particular, one of my side whips has an older cast of characters, and I have noticed immediately how much my faith is influenced in them when they're a little bit older versus when they're teenagers, when they're 13, 15, 16, some of them are 18. I can see it, but not as much as I do when they're older. I don't know why that is, but when they get older, it really just snaps into place, which has been a lot of fun to explore. So it kind of just, it affects every aspect of it, my faith, because it's what I believe. So it's kind of hard to not have it influenced in some way if I believe it to such a degree. 15 is, how do you not get burnt out from writing, work, school, and social media? The answer to that one is yes, I absolutely do get burnt out. I'm very blessed that some of my outlets, like drafting and social media, creating content for Instagram in particular, those are some of my outlets that kind of help me get out of feeling burnt out. But with all of the balancing and everything, yes, I absolutely do get burnt out. And the way I deal with it is I take breaks. I actually requested last week off of work. I didn't go to work at all last week because I did this a few weeks ago. I made the decision. When I finished my first semester of college, I was in this huge run. I was stressed out with everything going on. I have a lot of publishing stuff to do that I need to catch up on, that I still need to catch up on. And I was in a phase where I was like, I need to take a week off of work, or I'm going to put in my 2 weeks and there is no in between. So I took a week off of work and I feel better now. I feel more relaxed. So yes, I do get burnt out, but take care of yourself and it will get better for sure. 16, if purple and green didn't exist, what would you do? I don't know. I would probably not have purple and green be the color theme for my book. I'm going to put that right now. But I think this is a fun one to think about because Miles' eye color in particular being purple was because I wanted purple eyes so bad. Like when I was like 12, 13, like I thought that would be the coolest thing ever. So I'm curious as to what he would be like if purple wasn't an option. If people couldn't have purple eyes, which I mean, I know technically like there's kind of mixed feelings on if purple is a real eye color. If it wasn't an option, I don't know what I would do. The Magi would simultaneously be different and the same in that, the color of their eyes don't really affect that much. It's their power that comes down to it. But I wonder if they would have different powers based off of having a different eye color. Question number 17. Should you rush to complete the next book in a series or take the time you need to write it? I think there's a balance with this one. I think simultaneously, you don't want to rush it. Smash my ring. You don't want to rush it. You don't want to completely just pump it out because you need to get it out by a certain time. At the same time, you also don't want to just take an infinite amount of time. You do need to eventually set a deadline. In my opinion, I think it's when you're doing a series, I kind of like when it's like a year or less between books. Now, this depends on the person for sure and the position you are in. There's a lot of different aspects to it. I would say a year or less, and this is in part so people don't forget the book. Because if people buy and read the book when it first comes out, and then the next book doesn't come out for like 2 or 3 years, they might have forgotten certain aspects of the book. So that's really what it comes down to. But at the same time, if you are going to either publish a low quality book or you take a little extra time, take the extra time. There is absolutely a balance in it, and it depends on kind of just your personal situation and then the complexity of the book as well. Are you writing a novella or are you writing a epic novel, an epic length novel? Depending on that, your answer to that question could completely change. The final question I have, this is a fun one, and I don't know if I should end this in a teasing way or not, but I'm so tempted to that I think I'm going to. Question number 18. How did Will become my favorite character over Miles? The answer to that is because I wanted him to become your favorite character over Miles. Will was specifically written in a way that I knew he was going to be a fan favorite. Sorry, not sorry. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you again for 100 subscribers. I am very excited about it. When I saw it officially reach that milestone, I was over the moon, so thank you so much. And thank you for sticking around. Thank you for the questions. If you have any follow-up questions on anything I have answered today, because I know some of them were a little bit writing advice related, some of them were a little bit just kind of about me, some of them were random. If you have any follow-up questions on anything, as always, don't hesitate to comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe. I need to set a new milestone. I don't know, should I go from 100 to like 1,000, or maybe my next goal should be 250 is when I'll do the next fun thing. That way, we know we can celebrate a little sooner. Thank you for watching, whatever time it is, whether it's morning, evening, or night. Have a great day.